In the serene village of Umunede, nestled in the heart of Igbo land, two inseparable friends, Eziaha and Adamma, grew up side by side. Their childhood was a harmonious blend of laughter, shared secrets, and dreams spawned beneath the shade of ancient trees. As the years passed, their bond only deepened, and they were inseparable, like two peas in a pod. Adamma, the radiant beauty of Umunede, was the apple of every villager's eye. Her grace and charm attracted the attention of many suitors, but her heart belonged to one man, Afamefula, a wealthy farmer from their own village. The day they wed was a spectacle, a celebration that enveloped Umunede in joy and festivity. Eziaha, while genuinely happy for her friend, couldn't quell the green flames of jealousy that gnawed at her heart. The wealth and prosperity that Adama now enjoyed with Afamefula became a source of resentment for Eziaha, who felt left behind, a mere shadow in her friend's newfound happiness. Consumed by envy, Eziaha could no longer bear the thought of Adama's idyllic life. She turned to darkest forces, seeking a charm from the village's local witch doctor that could steal Afamefula's heart away. The deal was struck, and Ezia's heart was tainted with a sinister power that would set her treacherous plan into motion. As the days passed, Afamefula found himself inexplicably drawn to Eziaha, his heart slowly being ensnared by the dark magic that had taken root. His affection for Adama waned, and he began distancing himself from her, leaving her in a state of confusion and sorrow. Eziaha took advantage of Afamefula's growing obsession with her and manipulated him with her newfound power. She convinced him that Adama was no more than a lowly servant, unworthy of his attention or affection. Adama's life became a waking nightmare, and she endured not only the emotional torment of her husband's neglect, but also the physical and emotional abuse from the very person she had called her closest friend. Adama's spirit was slowly crushed beneath the weight of the betrayal, but her resolve remained unbroken. She realized that she could no longer endure the torment and decided to leave Umunede in search of a new life. Her departure sent shockwaves through the village, and the once joyous and vibrant place was now shrouded in darkness and despair. Years passed, and Adama built a new life in a neighboring village, far from the treacherous clutches of her former friend and her estranged husband. She found solace and happiness in her newfound independence, slowly piecing her life back together, though the scars of her past never truly faded. Eziaha, on the other hand, lived in wealth but was haunted by guilt and regret. The once vibrant village beauty was now a prisoner of her own making, trapped in the web of her sinister charm's consequences. Afamefula's obsession with her had become a curse that she couldn't break. The prosperity she had sought came at the cost of her own happiness and the well-being of her friend. As the years went by, the weight of her actions became unbearable. The guilt, like a relentless shadow, followed her every step. She realized that the depth of her betrayal and the havoc it had wreaked on the lives of those she cared about most. Desperate to find redemption, she knew she had to mend the shattered pieces of her past. One day, as she walked through the village, she noticed the changed atmosphere. The once bustling Umunede had lost its vibrancy and had become a place of sorrow and despair. The villages were no longer the joyful, close-knit community she had known in her childhood. Instead, there was a heavy cloud of sadness that hung over the village. Eziaha's heart ached, and she realized the extent of devastation she had caused. She knew she had to make amends and bring back the happiness and unity that Umunede had once enjoyed. But undoing the black magic she had unleashed seemed impossible. Desperate for a solution, she decided to seek help from another source. She approached her village's wise elder, Nwabudike, renowned for his deep knowledge of ancient traditions and magic. With a heavy heart, she confessed her terrible actions and the misery she had brought upon her friend and the village. Nwabudike, after hearing Eziaha's confession, shook his head in disappointment, but agreed to help her seek redemption. He explained that dark magic had consequences that often went beyond the intended target, affecting the balance of life in the village. Together, they embarked on a journey to undo the spell and free Afamefula from his obsession. They performed a complex ritual that involved offering apologies to the spirits and cleansing Umunede of the darkness that had taken root. It was a long and arduous process, and Eziaha had to confront her own demons and come to terms with her actions. As the ritual unfolded, Afamefula's trance began to break. He started to remember the love he had once felt for Adama and the treachery that had ensnared him. The weight of his actions weighed heavily on him, and he, too, sought forgiveness from the spirits and from Adama. In the neighboring village, Adama had built a new life. She had found happiness and peace, but the scars of her past still haunted her. She had never been able to forget Umunede or the treacherous betrayal of her closest friend. When word reached her that Eziaha was seeking redemption, she hesitated but ultimately agreed to return to the village. The day of reconciliation arrived, and the villagers gathered to witness a momentous event. Adama, Afamefula, and Eziaha knelt before the community, baring their hearts and seeking forgiveness. The spirits seemed to listen, and a sense of relief and forgiveness washed over the village. Umunede slowly began to heal. The laughter and the joy that had been lost for years returned, and the bonds among the villagers strengthened once more. The village was no longer shrouded in darkness, but bathed in the warmth of forgiveness and redemption. Eziaha had learned a valuable lesson about the consequences of her actions and the power of redemption. She had made amends with Adama, and they started to rebuild their friendship, albeit with the understanding that some wounds take longer to heal. Adama, with her strength and resilience, had become a symbol of forgiveness and grace. She had chosen to stay in Umunede, contributing to the village revival with her wisdom and kindness. Her radiant beauty had dimmed somewhat with the passage of years, but it was replaced by a profound inner glow that touched everyone around her. Afamefula, having come to terms with his past actions, had redoubled his efforts as a farmer, ensuring prosperity not just for his own family but for the entire village. His relationship with Adama had been mended, and their love had deepened with the trials they had faced. Eziaha, on the other hand, remained forever marked by her actions, but she had turned her life around as well. The guilt and regret were never far from her, serving as a constant reminder of the darkness that had once consumed her. She dedicated herself to helping others, particularly those who had fallen into the same pit of jealousy and resentment she had once inhabited. Over the years, she became a trusted confidant and advisor for those in the village who sought guidance and redemption. Her own experience of seeking forgiveness had made her an empathetic and wise counselor, and she often shared the story of her journey from darkness to light. hoping it would serve as a lesson to others. The village of Umunede had transformed not only in the spirit but also in physical form. Ancient trees that had witnessed the bond between Eziaha and Adama had grown even more majestic. They stood as living witnesses to the village's enduring strength and the ability its people to overcome adversity. The harmony and unity of Umunede became renowned throughout the region, drawing admiration and respect from neighboring villages. Visitors often came to hear the legend of Umunede and to witness the village's remarkable transformation from a place of sorrow to one of hope and reconciliation. Eziaha, Adama, and Afamifula, once separable friends, had learned that the bonds of friendship, when tested by the fires of betrayal and redeemed through forgiveness, could become unbreakable. The village of Umunede had learned that even in the darkest of time, there was always a path to redemption, and the human spirit had the power to heal and transform. And so, the village of Umunede continued to thrive, not as a place untouched by darkness, but as a living testament to the resilience of the human heart and the enduring power of forgiveness. In its midst, the ancient trees whisper stories of a time when jealousy had cast a shadow, but the light of redemption had ultimately prevailed.